Creativity and community are absolutely vital in challenging times. Welcome to Syncreate, a show where we explore the intersections between creativity, psychology, and spirituality. We believe everyone has the capacity to create. Our goal is to demystify the process and expand the boundaries of what it means to be creative. We talk with visionaries and change makers and everyday creatives working in a wide range of fields and mediums, from the arts to science, technology, and business. We aim to illuminate the creative process, from imagination to innovation and everything in between. I'm Melinda Rothaus, and I help individuals and organizations bring their dreams and visions to life.
Hi, I'm Charlotte Gulick, and I'm a writer, educator, and writing coach. We are the co-authors of a book on the creative process, also called Syncreate. At Syncreate, we're here to support your creative endeavors. If you have an idea for a project or a new venture, and you're not sure how to get it off the ground, find us at syncreate.org. Our book, now available in both print and audiobook format, walks you through the stages of the creative process so you can take action on your creative goals. We offer resources, creative process tools, and coaching to help you bring your work to the world. Our monthly creativity coaching group has begun. We'd be delighted for you to join us. We'd also love to hear your feedback on the show. Please drop us a line at info@syncreate.org. We're looking for feedback on how we can improve the show, what's resonating for you, and what future topics you'd like us to cover.
All right, welcome back to the show, everyone. We hope your year is off to a good start, whatever that looks like for you in this moment. And I wanted to share for this Creative Spark episode a little bit about a retreat that I just finished leading in Mexico a couple of weeks ago. It's an annual New Year's retreat that I facilitate with my friend and colleague, Jake Lorfing, and it's called The Art of Impermanence, New Beginnings. So this retreat explores the Buddhist teachings on impermanence as they relate to art and creativity. So the idea of impermanence is simply that all things change, right? Nothing is static. Things are always shifting and changing and evolving. And according to the Buddhist teachings, part of what creates suffering is our resistance to change, our desire for things to stay the same, our inability to let go and kind of move with the flow of life. So the idea here is that reflecting on impermanence, which can sometimes feel heavy, right? I mean, the Buddhist teachings talk about sickness, old age, and death, things that we will all experience. But the flip side of that is that it really helps us to be fully present in the moment and appreciate the beauty and the preciousness of life.
So isn't it that one of the things they say when we're depression is about looking back and anxiety is looking forward? And
Yes.
not to over minimize the depth of how that can feel, such as a pool in our bodies, like the visceral feel of anxiety or depression. But
Mhm.
just thinking about that in terms of like how learning to learn how to be present.
Yes. Yeah, and you're right, exactly. If you really think about it, the only thing we have is this present moment
Mhm.
and this present moment and this present moment. The past is an idea and the
Mhm.
future hasn't arrived yet. And yet how much time and, as you say, anxiety or depression or whatever it might be, ruminating on the past
Mhm.
or fearing what's to come or even planning what's to come, right? Because
And for you, it's like, okay, you're planning for a conference or a retreat
mhm,
in
mhm,
Mexico. You're getting yourself ready.
mhm.
You're packing, you're thinking about all the things. How much anxiety is present for you when you're going to teach about this? Like, do you like stop yourself sometimes? Like, hold on, I'm in this present moment. Or you're like, so does it pull you? Like, how's it? play in action as you prep to travel?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, the nice thing about this retreat, this is the third year we've done this particular one, but we've been doing retreats at this location in Mexico for a number of years, and Jake and I have been teaching together for quite a long time. So we're quite comfortable with each other, and we've got kind of a nice structure and framework for the retreat that it's always different and fresh every time, and we vary some things, but I think the key is that we're comfortable enough with each other that we've really come to trust each other. And so there's not a lot of anxiety around it. We do some planning, we have some calls with the folks that run the retreat center, and kind of figure out what we're going to do. There is some planning involved. But most of the anxiety is just like packing the suitcase and getting to the airport, the usual travel things. So,
So, when people are thinking about their creativity, and I'm sure that there's some thinking about the past, there's some thinking about the future. Does what I'm doing in this moment matter? I think this Syncreate, one of the things we're trying to say, every moment of creativity matters because we
yes.
really want to bring the joy. And I think maybe to expand that, the joy and the sense of presence in our work.
Yeah.
But do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, and we really kind of delve into that with some of the exercises that we do. So like the location Casa Huerma, which is in Patzcuaro, Mexico, it's got this absolutely gorgeous garden, and it's kind of in the middle of the town, but it's like a little oasis. And when you step onto the grounds, it's just this lush garden. And so we do a lot of things in the garden because the garden is the perfect metaphor for impermanence. You look
Yeah.
around and you see buds that haven't opened yet. You see flowers in full bloom. You see the flowers that have, died, are withering away. And like all stages of life are in the garden. I remember when I first arrived this time, I took a walk around, and in the far kind of corner of the garden, I just saw this pile of feathers, and some cat had gotten a bird, and it was like, that's impermanence. It's
Yes.
right there. So like one of the exercises we do is have people connect with a flower or a tree or something in the garden, and then go back to it each day throughout the week
Yeah.
and maybe take a photo or draw it or something and notice how it changes over time. It's so interesting. I saw a reel, I think on Instagram or someplace, where just the other day, where somebody did a time lapse video of their plants,
Oh,
like over a 24-hour period, and plants just look like they're sitting there like, "Hmm." But actually the plants were like moving and following the sun, and the leaves it was amazing, you know?
super cool. Super cool.
Yeah, so things are always changing, right? And some of the other things we do, we go to a local cemetery and do a little ceremony there, where several of our local folks who attend the retreat have family members
Mm.
buried. So kind of a similar thing that one might do at Dia de los Muertos, just honoring the dead and kind of cleaning up the grave site. This year we also did a mandala, kind of like the Tibetan monks do, with the sand mandalas that are so intricate with the colored sand, and they spend all this time making these incredibly intricate patterns. Ours wasn't quite so intricate, but it was a mandala pattern. And then instead of colored sand, there's a tradition in Mexico of using colored wood shavings
Mm.
that are dyed different colors. And so we had a local artist help us to draw the outline of a mandala, and then he dyed the wood shavings for us. And then throughout the week, we had these buckets of different colors of the shavings, and we filled in the mandala. And it was so beautiful. Everybody had a chance to contribute to it. And then at the end, we swept it away and gave
Yeah.
it back to the garden. So that's impermanence.
Yeah.
Yeah. So another one of the exercises that we did this year, and I think this speaks to your question, like, Is the present moment important for our creativity? Absolutely. So, my friend Jake had learned about this practice. It's based on a poem. It's called "Lie Down" by Nancy Paddock, and
Is this a pro tip?
um, yes. So I'm just going to describe it, and then the
Okay.
pro tip will be actually practicing it. So I'm going to
Okay.
read it. I'm going to read it out loud. And Jake received this from another friend who lives in New Orleans, who does a lot of contemplative arts work, Lori Dietrich. So this is called "Lie Down" by Nancy Paddock. And we encourage you, for the pro tip, to actually not just listen to this, but go and do this as a practice. Lie down with your belly to the ground, like an old dog in the sun. Smell the greenness of the clover leaf. Feel the damp earth through your clothes. Let an ant wander the uncharted territory of your skin. Lie down with your belly to the ground. Melt into the earth's contours like a harmless snake. All else is mere bravado. Let your mind resolve itself in a tangle of grass. Lie down with your belly to the ground, flat out, on ground level. Prostrate yourself before the soil you will someday enter. Stop doing. Stop judging, fearing, trying. This is not dying, but the way to live in a world of change and gravity. Let go. Let your burdens drop. Let your grief charge bleed off into the ground. Lie down with your belly to the ground, and then rise up with the earth still in you.
Rise up with the earth still in you.
Yes. So, and we did this as an exercise. We all went out to the garden and found a spot, laid down, face down. People could use a blanket or a mat if they didn't want to just be directly on the ground. But, there's something amazing. Like, how often do we just lie down on the ground, period, let alone face down? Like, maybe when we were kids, we did that. But how often do we do that now? And it was just amazing to, number one, just lie down and do nothing for an indefinite period of time. We didn't put a time limit on it. It was just like, nowhere to go, nothing to do, no one to be, lie down, smell the earth. So for our pro tip today, we encourage you to try this practice of lying down, face down, and see what happens and what it sparks for you. And maybe you'll then feel inspired to draw or create something based on that experience.
And if anyone asks you what you're doing, you can tell them and ask them to join you.
That's right. Try it out.
Find us and connect with us on YouTube and social media under Syncreate. And we're now on Patreon as well. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe and leave us a review.
We're recording today from Record ATX Studios in Austin, with Charlotte joining us from the Hudson Valley. The podcast is produced in collaboration with Mike Osborne at 14th Street Studios. Thanks so much for being with us, and see you next time.